Yeah, I punched Millennia to death at level 1. So what? DS1 at Soul level 1 is fucking spooky. It took so much effort to convince myself to actually do this run. People might wonder why, given Dark Souls isn't inherently considered harder than Elden Ring. Well, there's a few things. Dark Souls is a bit clunkier than other FromSoft titles, or later FromSoft titles. This can make it a lot less forgiving in some ways, and bosses like Ornstein and Smo and the Four Kings have always been huge pain points in my playthroughs, so consider me terrified? Now for the rules. This is probably the simplest run that I've done as far as rules go, and mostly for fear reasons. But basically, pick Pyromancer, don't level up. That's it. Just SL1, start to finish, as many bosses as I can. As always, we start in the Asylum. The only place I'm only on about a 1 on the spooky meter. Actually, Scriptomy is now going to get a spookometer for each boss. I think that's a good idea. At Asylum Demon, we register well into the green of the spookometer. I'm not worried at all. Yet I still managed to die. But that was a warm-up. I swear. Anyway, a few thwacks with the axe later, and I can continue on my Terra Marathon. Now I popped off to get murdered by drakes for about a week. Found a ring though. While we're on the topic of gear, let's talk about what my loadout will focus on. So it'll be FAP ring, so Ring of Favor and Protection, RTSR or Red Tearstone ring, Reinforced Club, Occult Club, but so I can turn it to Divine, Giant Blacksmith Hammer, Buckler Shield, Grasscrest Shield, and Power Within. All of this is just doing what I can to, keep things like stamina high, damage high, and that's pretty much it. Stamina and damage. Then it's time to ring my first bell. We're up to the gargoyles. I still put these guys in the green tier, but it always takes me a hot minute to warm up to their moves and my complete and utter lack of movement. Heart rate still low, bell rung. While I was in the neighbourhood, I decided to pop down to Old Moonlight. There's only two spooky things about this fight. The music, and when you get hit and realise that the damage is a lot more than you remember. So to prevent undue fear, I set the butterfly on fire and then smacked it with a stick. Capra. Now the spookometer's moving. Not because Capra itself is hard, but more because it's a pain in the ass to get to, the run back never gets easier, and you have bonus annoyances in the boss room. So, yeah. The strat is always the same though. Up the stairs, shield up, smack the puppies, fall on Cappy. Then it's just a straight fight and it's really not all that bad. As is my traditional route, it's to the depths after Capra, and we head to one of the coolest looking bosses, but unfortunately one of the least spooky. If you killed the wizard dick up top, there's really not a lot to fear, really telegraphed attacks, and a snoot you just gotta boop. So after I bop its dangly bits a few times, it becomes just another corpse in the sewers. I don't know where to put this stupid sexy spider. She's too spooky for me to want to run RTSR, but not enough that I feel I need to use RTSR. Anyway, like, the big problem is getting trapped between her legs, mind out of the gutter kids, and getting lava trapped are the biggest threats here. But because damage won't be amazing, what I'm looking for is when her spider face has a bit of a pag, because it's good for 3 attacks or so. You can fit them in safely there. That's it. time for Bell 2. Ceaseless doesn't deserve a spookometer unless I screwed up the first attempt, which I did not. Sens is always a ball of fucking laughs. To make this better, my controller started dying, meaning that I couldn't sprint all the time, so I'd just stop mid-sprint and just go for a leisurely fucking stroll. Was great, do recommend. This rusty slut doesn't scare me at all. Sure, he'll grab you from the boonies and lob you off the fortress, but like, aside from the grab, it's a non-issue. So I figure now's a perfect time to try RTSR. And after 5 or 6 playthroughs, I still haven't gotten the golem to fall off. Fuck. So while we wait for the pretty fairies to take me to Analondo, let's talk about how dumb I am. I thought you could farm Titanite chunks from the Sentinels at the start of Analondo, and of course I want my gear to be as strong as possible for ONS. I spent like 3 hours or so farming them to not get a single one because they're the wrong fucking Sentinels. I ended up asking the giant blacksmith if I could borrow his hammer because ONS scare the piss out of me. He said, okay, and is totally alive. Please don't check. ONS fall into that too likely to hit me category where I just don't want to risk RTSR. So instead, I just work on power within. I used the reinforced club on Orny to save stamina, and he just kind of stood there and took it. He just wanted to die today, I guess. Then I bring out my definitely borrowed hammer for Smo. Looking to bait out his jump attacks to round out this fight easily enough. But also, how bullshit is this fucking roll? Oh, suck it, hitbox. Sometimes we work with faulty equipment, and that is no more evident than the spookometer here. I thought Stray was in the green, but I forgot how stupid his AoE attacks are. It takes a few cracks, but sure enough, it just becomes another stain on my hammer. Now my fear is appropriately calibrated, the repressed memories are flowing back, showing just how annoying Stray Demon but orange can be. It's not so much a hard fight as it's annoying to be trapped between a wall, a stick, and some fuckhead's explosions. Ultimately, it ends up much like Stray, just a bit of a warm-up and I can move on. The not-so-human centipede is a weird one. It can hit hard, but I'm pretty familiar with surviving this fight. Should be a first try. Oh. Well, apparently lava burns. So I'll fight it in the one spot I've never fought it before. It's a bit cramped, but it cops a flogging, gives me its ring, and now it no longer burns when I pee. I love that I accidentally kicked this idiot. Then I got an easy bonk and she died. That's great. Anyway, Bed of Chaos isn't something to fear. It literally has no health and the run back isn't much to be bothered by. I started trying to do the firebomb method, but couldn't be bothered to look up how to actually do it. So I failed and then just had to do it the old-fashioned way. Moving on then. Onto the painted world. Priscilla isn't too big of an issue if you can knock her out of her invis anyway. So she's firmly in the green. After you knock her out of invis, just don't walk into her attacks. Give her a few power within bops and dive off the platform away from her simp army. Nothing much to it. Gwendolyn also gets the green. Like, sure, you can kill me easily enough, but I wonder if Bed of Chaos has more health than he does. Like, I guess it's kind of fitting given his whole role in the world and all the lore stuff behind it. All the same, just learn to dodge his 3 attacks and you'll leave him waiting for Aldrich in no time.
Swathed in dark.
Sif hits hard, but it doesn't really have a lot of health. Another green tier boss, unfortunately. I still suck at dodging its attacks, but with the right RNG and some love from Power Within, I skip the emotions phase altogether. Good times. This is fear. Not just because I've got to run through Spooky Town every time, but because I've always used the tank everything method on them. I progressively started to dodge better, but it's such an awful run back and one mistake will put you in the grave. As I don't have good enough of a skill set to dodge everything, I rely on Power Within to carry me. But because the kings are timed, it does eventually wear off. This is a pretty rough fight, but with a blessed moveset and my brain learning things, I managed to pull out the win. First real scare down. I died to Pinwheel, yep. I thought I could tank through 2 fireballs. I could not. Anyway, I came back to show him that I'm not stupid and bad, just one or the other, depending on circumstances. I love Tomb of the Giants. It's definitely not the most frustratingly designed area of the game at all. I came to Nito with some tricks. He's a medium spooky skeleton. But I remembered the joy of divine weapons on his bone bros from my dagger only run. Then I learned about the cheeky block strat to dodge Nito's scream stab thing. All these in play and Nito becomes a pushover. How good is Duke's Archives, right? Oop, I skipped it. Another Lord Soul sitting well in the green. The scariest part of this is running from clams because quitting out was time wasting I didn't want to do when I could time waste by getting Sith to kill them instead. Then I just hit him from time to time while running from them. Eventually he dies. Stupid dragon. Now we go to the DLC. This was another miscalibration. I did not realise how much of a pain the Guardian is when you have no health or stamina. Wowzers. Trying to bait out the wind attack was my main goal here. With that I can get in some damage and move on to the real horrors of this run. Artorias is truly scary. He has so many out of nowhere attacks that I don't trust myself with RTSR, and there isn't enough heal windows to stick to power within. So I've got to do this au naturel. The fight became a matter of learning what I could and praying that my caffeine-fueled reaction speed would pay off. With enough time, it eventually did. KALAMEET, again, terrifying. I found this fight gets a lot easier the quicker you can burn it down, fucking obviously. So I dabbled in all sorts of stuff, including shit like Sanctus RTSR, Power Within, being cursed, and having Dust Crown Ring. What that all does is keeps you in a low state of health where RTSR is very, very slowly ticking away at your small amount of health, so that you ultimately have shit tons of damage. But it takes so long to set up that it just didn't feel like it was worth it. So instead I got the dogs to set me up in RTSR. With a little bit of practice and KALAMEET's lingering head hitbox somehow inflicting no damage in like 3 attempts, I take down this obsidian horror and move on to the scariest part of this whole fucking run. Menace, the most grand horror in the abyss. RTSR setup took a bit to master down here, but then it was just running into the brick wall that is Menace over and over, and trying not to get baited into attacking his hand on that attack that he sometimes follows up by squashing you with his staff. Yeah, fun. Then it was the constant deaths to his magic while trying to identify which spell he was actually casting, because 2 of them he pulls his staff over to the left side first, 1 he lifts up in the air afterwards, and the other just fucking kills me. I put all this together, and when all is said and done, Manus gets no hit at level 1. Proud snacks moment. Oh, she's sleeping. I'd just wake her up, give her a little boop. She moved, she's awake. It's time to round out this game with a boss that couldn't possibly cause a problem. Well, he was actually a problem, because one bad parry and I'm toast. And, to boot, I kept stopping on the walk to him for the opening parry. That means I'm too far out of range and my parries would always miss. And it took so long for me to realise that's what I was doing wrong. Anyway, on the winning run, I went full silly boy mode. RTSR, Sanctus, with Power Within, and the Hornet Ring, and then Charcoal Pine Resin, just for some garnish really. A lucky no-reg on one parry I missed, and Gwyn is nothing but Ash, and my heart rate can drop under 150 finally. This trail of terror is at an end, and I did it. It's not especially new, but it doesn't mean it was easy though. This was still one hell of a fucking challenge. Thanks to everyone that checked this out. There will be more runs with crazier stipulations in the future, but I had to knock this one over and I was too scared to do anything crazier. If you've got ideas and you want to see some other runs, let me know in the comments and hopefully we can sort something out. Thanks again. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all those other YouTube things. Also, how fucking beautiful is this fucking song?